It has been several days of dark, rainy, gloomy days, but it has also been a perfect time for me to grab a cup of tea and plan for the future of our homestead, especially for the garden, as the season of gardening comes quick.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
Planning the garden out this year is a lot easier than last year. Last year, we were still living in our rental. We didn't really have our garden fully set up, and we weren't even moving in to this house until about mid-May. So that made things really difficult. I couldn't get early cool crops planted in the garden, and so I just started everything from seed indoors using soil blocks, which I really like using. And then when we moved all of our soil blocks over. And once it was finally time to plant, I had to harden off so many seedlings. And hardening off is where you get your seedlings used to living outside in the colder temperatures, the different temperatures. And you have to set them outside for an hour, bring them back in, and the next day set them out for a little bit longer and then bring them back in. And when you have 10 plus trays of seedlings to do with that every single day, it becomes really annoying. And so this year I changed my entire plan for the garden, and it could be an epic success or an epic failure. So my goal is to start as few things from seed indoors. So I created a little list of seeds that I'm going to be planting indoors, a whole page of things that need to be planted indoors, and I put them all together. And then I created a list of things that I want to plant directly in the ground outdoors and had them together, dates when to plant them. And so it was really nice to kind of create my own list for that because I've used other people's in the past and there's always been something I've had to alter. So this year, the main things that I will be starting from seed indoors are things like tomatoes and peppers and onions, things that take a really long time. And then there's things that are a little more cold hardy, and I plan on doing something entirely new, and I'm really excited to try it. And so we will be building a little cold frame outside where I plan on starting a lot of our more cold hardy crops from seed in that frame, and then I won't have to harden them off as much in the future. So we will see if that works. Plan to see that build in the future videos. All right, we're getting our harvest rate set up. So this is a freeze dryer. You're supposed to have it on a stand. So we went to a just thrift store, got a stand or table for about 15 bucks. And so now we're trying to set it all up. In anticipation of using the freeze dryer, I made a huge batch of taco soup yesterday, and I already have those starting to freeze in our deep freezer. If you freeze your food ahead of time before putting it in the freezer, it makes it go a lot quicker. So I bought extra trays so that I can get things loaded up and be frozen while it's running so we can keep it going. So I really hope to build a good supply of pre-made meals for our family that are freeze dried that we can use in case of emergencies or bring in a car for snacks. So obviously I will be using this loads and loads for harvesting during the summer months, but for right now I'm just planning on making a ton of huge double or triple batches of our dinners, and then I will freeze dry the extras, and then we'll have freeze dried food that can last up to 20 to 25 years. So it's a really good way to build up your food storage. With the taco soup, I only filled up 3 trays worth, and I still had 2 extra trays before I could fill up the whole freeze drying machine. So I ended up making a double batch of another one of our favorites, which is butternut squash turkey chili. So I got those 2 things frozen and ready to go after our test run. About 2 trays will feed our entire family for dinner. So this is our setup. You have a little bucket to catch any water that drips out or runoff, and then I have a box stored underneath for extra storage. This is our oil pump and home machine. So I got it set up. It turns out you can actually name your freeze dryer. I did not know this. So I figured why not High Desert Homestead, but I realized that you can't go past High Desert Home. And so we just named the machine High Desert. So our awesome High Desert Homesteader freeze dryer was ready to go. We had read somewhere to test run the machine first using just slices of bread. So I bought some just cheap slices of bread from the store because I didn't want to use my good bread and let it run. And they said that can kind of help get rid of the new car smell that might happen. All right, so we have two projects that we want to get done today. One is now that this little kitty, the stray cat, has been sticking around for quite some time, we feel like it's probably about time to give her a proper home. So we have some spare lumber, spare siding, spare roofing from the chicken coop, so we figured we'd build her a home now that it's getting especially cold at night. And number two, I want to plant actually all of our flowers outdoors in pots and with covers on them. So kind of using the cold stratification method to get the seeds cold, and then they'll start growing once the weather's warm enough and they'll be ready to plant in the spring. This is something that my neighbor actually taught me about, and she's done it year after year, and she just has the most beautiful gardens. I dream of having cut flowers all summer long, and every year I'm like, I'm gonna do it this year, and every year I'm like, oh, it gets too busy. So I'm thinking that if I start those now, and then when things get too busy, they'll just be ready to go. So we'll see. So this kitty, we have fondly called her River, started showing up late in the summer and beginning of fall and just hanging around, and was super friendly with us, but we weren't sure if she had an owner or anything. She stayed around our place for several months, and then she started just sleeping on our back patio, and I hadn't created a home or a space for her at all. But then it started getting really cold at night, and so I felt really bad for her to just sleep on our freezing cold concrete steps. So we got a diaper box and threw a little towel in there and put on just a little extra sheet plastic panel from our chicken coop on top for her to use. She's inspecting the work, isn't she? Whenever I get out the camera, she turns her head. River. Hi, kitty. You like your home? It's gonna be pretty tall.
River won't care.
Once it started getting really cold and that box started to fall apart after getting wet a little bit, and the panel would just like blow off, so we started putting rocks on the top of the panel to hold it down, and then it started collapsing the cardboard box. And so I just decided, hey, we have tons of extra little pieces of our siding from the chicken coop that would totally work for building a kitty house. You want to arch?
About this high.
So we'll have to step over this, but I think that'll help make it warmer.
Yeah.
Unless we want to cut that off, but I think it'll make it warmer to have. So like this high?
Yeah.
Is that going to be big enough?
Yeah. When little Hazel was wearing that shirt. I remember when I had that flower.
Can you guys hold this so it doesn't move? Hold the board?
Yeah, but now it's going to... That's perfect!
It's a little lopsided.
Mom, that's perfect!
Oh, good.
That will be good enough for River. That'll be perfect. Running around.
Okay.
Perfect.
Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great.
Okay.
Now it's like as big as it was. Okay. Mom, do you think we should cut that board off?
We will. That's where the flowers are gonna go.
What?
Yes. This board got bowed from the water and being stepped on. Can you stand on the back and like push so it doesn't come
this way. There you go. Oh, Mom. Bruno, do you want to see this? How about like she doesn't two big paw prints right here and right here that don't exactly reach the top, like this big.
Like brown ones? How do you do paw prints, guys?
You do like one circle and then like 3 little things, or maybe 4 or 5. Yeah, 4. I do 4. I do 4 too.
Do they have 4? Look at her paws.
She has 5.
How many little circles?
She has. Mom, she won't let
She's not gonna let you touch her.
Her paw looks like that. So
Okay.
like one down here and then.
So like one on this side and one on this side? This to squirt on the paint.
So we could
That
just
looks
do
like
one.
a poop.
Mom, we could just do one big one and then 4 little dots. One big river print.
Oh, I kind of like swooped that one off. 1, 2. Is it really 4?
Yeah. And then there's one like right here on her wrist. There's 4
yeah.
and then like one up
Well,
there.
I won't paint that one.
Yeah, because that would look really weird. Like her paws look like that.
We decided to add this little final touch of having a little sign for the kitty house. I really like signs. I think they're fun. I want to do signs for our garden, for our orchard, this little sign for the berry patch, and for the chicken coop. So this was fun. The kids had a blast with making this for me.
Mom, that is so cute. Mom, I don't. River's gonna be so shady now. I can't believe she just went in. Like I don't
See,
care.
look. Well, it smells like her too.
Wait, can everybody? Mom, are these on the water right now? Everybody plant.
So on to our second goal for the day. We still had a beautiful warm afternoon. This was just like a little pocket of sunshine in between gray days. So I was like, we are going to be outside all day today. And so we really were. And this was, again, like I said, something I wanted to try that our friend had done. And she uses milk jugs, but she said to plant her seeds in, but she said she's also used pots and put like a plastic covering over them. And I just had this little pot, and so I decided we could try this. And then within the next few weeks, I definitely plan on building a more of a cold frame where I can put the whole box inside for starting seeds, and that will rest up against the south facing side of our home where it gets tons of sun, lots of heat. So many little fingers helping me do this. I don't even know if the right seeds were planted or what, but we'll just have to see what ended up happening after this crazy event of planting so many flowers.